October 2018 is Italian Heritage Month. The Italian Heritage and Culture Committee of New York presents a salute to Italian women in America, breaking barriers from Ellis Island to the present. The Italian Heritage and Culture Committee of New York is proud to present to you a symposium that it sponsored in cooperation with the National Organization of Italian American Women that featured many notable Italian and Italian American women in America who broke barriers. In this one, watch the speech, the presentation of Justice Angela Mazzarelli.
I think we all could talk about how we got strength from our families and the support of our families was probably the most important thing in our growing up as an Italian American. We had the guidance of our parents, the work ethic that you talked about, and how our forebears came here when they were teenagers with nothing in their pockets and developed everything. And we also have, I think, something that other people don't, which is the extended family, the aunts and uncles, who volunteer advice always. You know, you never can get away with anything. I remember as a small kid, we decided we were going to smoke some cigarettes in the back of the field. I grew up in a very small town in New England, so a group of us went down to this field. We were smoking cigarettes, and we turned around, and there's my mother with a baseball bat. My aunt was upstairs in her house, peering out of her bathroom window, watching us. And of course, we got caught. The important values of hard work and industry, honesty, I think we all were imparted by our families. But I just wanted to talk about something else that I got from my father, which was a special sense of justice and propelled me to become a lawyer. I grew up in a very small town in Massachusetts. My father was a bread baker. I went to public schools. How did I end up as a lawyer and a judge in New York City? And it was things I heard my father and his friends talk about when I was a child. And of course, ultimately, I was lucky enough to be appointed to the appellate division of the Supreme Court by Governor Mario Cuomo, reappointed by Andrew Cuomo. I was the only woman in that court for quite a period of time. And as you might know, I was your husband's last appointment to the bench on his last day in office. I take great pride in that, great pride. But my father used to talk to us all the time about certain things in American history that had happened that were, he considered to be great injustices involving Italian Americans and Italian immigrants, and felt that the system of our government and our courts and our justice didn't recognize. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but the single largest lynching in the United States was of Italian immigrants. 11 Sicilians in New Orleans who were acquitted of murdering a police officer were dragged out and lynched. And there's a tree that they still have in New Orleans which they used. And that happened in 1891. But the thing that my father used to talk to me about the most, and really propelled me to become a lawyer, was the case of Sacco and Vanzetti. It was fascinating to me, and it's fascinating to me that I'm an appellate judge now, because one of the greatest injustices of that case was the system of appeals. After Sacco and Vanzetti were convicted, the trial judge got to hear the appeals, which is a very strange thing. All 6 appeals that Sacco and Vanzetti brought were heard by the same judge who tried the case. Sacco and Vanzetti were 2 Italian-American immigrant anarchists. They believed in anarchy. They grew up around Milford, Massachusetts, which is where my father grew up, which was the first town in the United States to have more than 50% of its population Italian immigrants. And it was a hotbed of Italian activity and anarchy, and as a young child, he had the opportunity to meet one of these 2 people. Now, I know that the current view is that Sacco was guilty and Vanzetti was not guilty, but neither were given a fair trial. And I heard these stories for years and years, and it really drove me to want to do something, to be right. Obviously, I couldn't have anything to do with that case, but I just looked up a few things that I thought would be interesting to us. During the prosecution of Sacco and Vanzetti, they were accused of having stolen money, and in the course of which a police officer or a guard was killed. These two men were tried, and most of the discussion was about their radical political beliefs. During the trial, they were kept in an iron cage in the courtroom, which is something we would never allow today, of course, and something that really enhances what the perception of the jury is as to their guilt or their innocence. And at the end of a trial, the judge explains to the jury what the law is. And in this instance, the judge explained to the jury that they should put first the fact that those jurors were true Americans, not like the two people who were on trial. They were not true Americans. I thought that would be interesting to all of us. And there was also, during the whole course of this trial, a failure to disclose evidence, and actually it became one of the most famous things that went on in the whole world. Everyone was engaged in this trial of Sacco and Vanzetti because there were so many injustices that were going on. A very famous poet, Edna St. Vincent Millay, who I'm sure you've all heard of, wrote a poem about them. And she said these men were castaways upon our shore, and we, an ignorant, savage tribe, have put them to death because their speech and their manners were different from our own, and because to the untutored mind, that which is strange is in its infancy ludicrous, but in its prime, evil, dangerous, and to be done away with. So I just thought all of those thoughts were interesting to us now and to the times that we live in, and things to think about, and how we have to always be sure that we protect our identity, ourselves, and the justice system must be also protected by people like Mario Cuomo, who, Mrs. Cuomo, when I would run into him anytime, he would say to me, I read every single one of your decisions that you've written in the last 6 months, and I agree with this one, but I don't agree with the other one, and this is where you went wrong. And I always thought that was so wonderful. I was always so flattered that he took that interest. So, how did my Italian-American heritage help me? I think I've told you. How did it hurt me? I don't think it really hurt me at all. I think being a woman was a difficulty. In law school, we were just a few women when I started. I was told many times I couldn't have a job because I was a woman. I was offered jobs as a secretary, having graduated from Columbia Law School. I thought maybe I could do something. One of the happiest days of my life is when I walked into the Neuer conference, and there were all these people who were like me. I was living in New York City on my own, all by myself, and I walk into this room and I meet all these Italian-American women who immediately opened their arms to me and included me in their activities and gave me like a second home. And so many of them are here, and I thank them for that. So I had two Italian families, my own family and then my Neuer family. And of course, my husband is my third family.
Special thanks to Francesco Genuardi, Consul General of Italy in New York, for hosting the event at the consulate in New York City. Thank you for watching. Find out more about Italian heritage and culture at www.italyculturemonth.org. Arrivederci!